Yes, guys, it's Monday. Welcome to Chasing Green Arrows. It's game week 24, and we're almost there. We're almost there. One game left this evening. It's Chelsea versus Palace. It may determine your green or red arrow, but I suspect every chaser watching, you pretty much know if you've had a good or bad game week. Did you go Haaland captain? Did you go differential Jota, Darwin? Oh, it was a swingy week. Dean, how'd you get on?
Yeah, I hadn't actually looked at my points until 2 minutes ago. I'm on 62 points at the moment. Captained Haaland instead of De Bruyne in the end, thankfully. Yeah, I was on the fence about it, and I kept going back to it's Haaland against Everton. What am I doing? Just pick him. Don't overthink this.
After 70 minutes, he hadn't had a shot on target, and I was sweating. And then 71 minutes comes, he scores, and he scores another. Like, it makes me think we just got to stay patient sometimes and like expect that when he gets a chance, he'll probably tuck it away, and he'll probably get a chance.
Yeah, exactly that. I say, that there are people in my other mini leagues that barely make any changes all season, and they don't end up that far behind me because they just leave players like this as captain, and eventually, like they start to catch up. And it is obviously frustrating because you put in a lot of thought week by week into your selections, and sometimes it doesn't always pay off. But yeah, Adam says no, Saka killed me. I mean, I've been of the mind that Saka was becoming unnecessary in FPL, and then recently he started to turn it on, hasn't he, again? Yes. And the way Arsenal are playing, they are blowing teams away. 6 goals against West Ham, 3 against Liverpool. This is a different version of Arsenal. You know, a lot of the season we've seen them winning by the odd goal, and that's not really been, for me, that wasn't convincing enough that they could actually put up a fight alongside City and Liverpool. But yeah, I'm well over now fully. Well, it was while it might not have been the best West Ham performance you're ever going to see, to go to the London Stadium and score 6 goals takes some doing. And so they've definitely turned my head there. But yeah, a decent game week, mate. I can't really complain too much. Anything stand out for you?
Staying patient with Saka was a big one. Like, we spoke about it a lot a few weeks back. He was playing badly. Like, there's no doubt. Like, we were right to doubt him. We were right to probably stay patient, though. And I remember going, I think he went to Nottingham Forest away, and I remember going one more week. And I didn't need to see Saka score. I just needed to see Saka play well and Arsenal play fairly well. And that's what it is. Like, Saka's form is dependent on how Arsenal as a team are clicking. And recently, Arsenal have been banging, and Saka's been banging. So I thought that was a big one. And fair play. Look, I was very close to benching Saka. That was purely because it was Saka or Palmer. And then I got a leak and heard the news that De Bruyne was benched, and it was like, okay, I'll just bench De Bruyne. He came on, got the assist, but Saka, as Geddy says in the chat, Geddy says Saka is a season keeper. Bang on, and he really is. And I think, he's just one of those players that will maybe not be so explosive, but tick along. But then against West Ham, he was explosive, and 6 goals. Like, he could have scored a couple before the penalty. And he said post-match, like, I'm disappointed I didn't play well. I shouldn't be getting player of the match. Like, Eagles getting his player of match award, saying, he's annoyed at himself for missing those big chances. And he's got that big player mentality, and he's already scored 50 league goals for Arsenal. Like, it's an amazing stat for such a young kid. So that was a big one. I think City and Haaland captainers, that was big. And then the Arsenal defenders, like, they're on the thumbnail. Saliba and Gabriel are this season's Trent and Cancelo and Reece James and Trippier. In years gone by, it's been those fullbacks. We always, Robertson, we chased the fullbacks for attacking threat. Well, this season, the fullbacks aren't delivering. And the centre-backs, there's 2 of them that have scored 5 goals between them and keep more clean sheets than everyone else, and they're well priced. Like, I put Van Dijk in the same category in terms of set piece threat, but Gabriel and Saliba, that top 3 with Van Dijk for getting their bonds on an in-swinging cross. And Declan Rice now on free kicks, which I always think is weird because he should be in the box because he's good in the air. But actually, the delivery, and fella in the chat was there at the London Stadium, like, Declan Rice's set piece delivery is insane.
Do you remember I had Rice in my team in the first 3 weeks?
He got a monster haul at the weekend, mate. That goal, he took it so well as well. First time, top bins.
Oh, what a strike. A friend of mine coached Declan Rice for a long time. He'd do like one-on-one sessions with him and stuff like that on the side, even when he was at West Ham. And he says, like, honestly, we are not seeing the full version of Declan Rice. He's like, as a ball striker, this guy is as good as I've ever seen. he's like, and I just can't wait for Arsenal to give him more license to show this, because he's like, honestly, he will score a lot of goals. He's got so much more that we haven't seen yet. And he hits one like that, and I'm like, oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's been brilliant. I tell you what, mate, I was thinking as well, like in terms of, you don't expect to get much value out of £100 million footballer, but Arsenal have got loads of value out of Declan Rice, and it
Really
does make me wonder, when you consider Enzo and
Caicedo.
And, I mean, it makes it look like you got ripped off a little bit, doesn't it?
It does, but that's Chelsea. I mean, Rice could have come back to his boyhood club as well, Chelsea. But the position Arsenal were in, it was such a strong proposition. And Arsenal are legit candidates for winning the league this season. I mean, it's going to be really interesting, the title race. I think Liverpool, City and Arsenal, I can't remember February where I thought there's 3 teams that could win the league. I'm not sure I can actually ever think of, like, even back in the days of Arsenal and United, and then it was Chelsea and United. Like, Liverpool have been in the mix a couple of times, but with City, a 3-horse race, it legit is, isn't it? Or are you just thinking City will get to April and
City win it, and I don't know who comes second. Like, I just still can't see City not winning the league. I want to believe in a title race. I just don't know that I do, because I think Man City are too good and they've got too many options compared to everybody else. But I keep being blown away by how other teams prove me wrong. Like when Liverpool had to call upon Conor Bradley, I was like, oh, there's a weakness there. And he grows and grows and grows into a player you think should be keeping Trent out of the team. Yeah. Arsenal, I say, well, they don't score enough goals. They're scoring 6 goals against West Ham away, and they're sharing the goals around. They should have signed a number 9. They don't really need one, because it's not the way that they play. And it's really interesting the way that these teams are trying to chase City down, because it does feel quite different. But I still can't see City not winning it, and I still think Arsenal are the team that end up in 3rd.
Let's run a poll on that and see between the 3. I mean, everyone's going to say Man City, but I'm interested to know exactly, like, yeah, they're efficient. But when I look at Arsenal and Liverpool, they're showing similar efficient vibes in the respect that they can win ugly. They can win games. Well, they can win big. 6-0 Arsenal at the weekend shows that, but they can also win ugly. And the games between those 3 teams could be what the title hit. I don't see many points dropped between all 3 of those teams, which is why I think it's a legit title race, I guess. I'm with you. City have to be favourites, and City will go in, and we know they've been there, done it, where they just go win in March, April. But I think Liverpool and Arsenal could do that too.
Yeah, we'll see. It's going to depend too on which players do end up picking up injuries. We've seen with City, if Rodri gets injured or is suspended, like it's massive. That kills them, literally kills them, and they're done. Yeah. So if that was to happen, it does truly open the door for Arsenal or Liverpool. And I'm not sure. I mean, maybe Van Dijk at Liverpool could be an equivalent to losing a player like that. And at Arsenal, maybe Rice or Gabriel or Saliba, maybe losing someone of that stature would prove as detrimental. But yeah, it's an interesting topic we're going to get to address as we get further down the line. Obviously, some massive fixtures to be had between the teams too. There's the Man City Arsenal game that will be absolutely huge, I'm sure, further down the line. So I'm looking forward to that. Did the poll go out? I'm just trying to get onto YouTube so I can actually see.
Have a look.
We did a poll on that.
I don't think it's live yet, but we will get a poll up there. Who's going to win the title? City, Liverpool, or Arsenal? Let's see what you think. It's interesting. It's so tight. I guess we should talk a little bit, if we're talking about headlines at the weekend, Trent replacements. Like, looks like Trent's out. I mean, still early, but even if he's doubtful, going into a double game week with a player that you don't know is going to play, knowing he also blanks in game week 26, he's probably a sell. The Man City defense looks very investable if you've only got 2 Man City players. But again, the nailed players in that City lineup, 2 that you just went, they play every single game recently. It's Walker and Guardiola, who both missed out last time.
So annoying.
Ake is another one that you just go, he plays every game at the minute. He's been left centre back. He played left back because Guardiola was out the team. Yeah. And Ake does offer you some goal threat, and he's well priced. I think if I was punting on a City defender now, probably go Ake. But I don't even know if that's where you go if you're selling Trent. It's a tough one. There's no real, like, maybe you just stay in Liverpool and go Van Dijk for a bit goal threat.
What about Conor Bradley? Like, would you have any faith in that at all? I mean,
If he
he's
was on the bench at the weekend, I would have gone there this time round. But I just don't know if because he's such a young lad, and with his dad dying, like you just don't know what mental state he's in, and if Klopp has gone, you need proper time. If he had been on the bench though, I'd be going there this game week. I just need to see him, I guess, in first team training, and I need to see Klopp say about him being back. But
I think he's a great Trent replacement in terms of FPL. Like, and he's going to play. I imagine he'll be back in, and the people I speak to in football, whenever you address situations around this with them, their response usually is that players would just prefer to play in these sorts of situations because it is just a form of escapism too. And once you're focused on something else, and it's a release, and there's obviously emotion involved in it too, because his dad would have, used to watch him play and stuff like that. But typically, players want to get back to playing as soon as possible. And knowing that Liverpool actually need him because they're not going to be able to call on Trent, he'll want to be that man. Like, you don't get opportunities like this. And Klopp's obviously pretty much the best in the business at knowing how to manage a player, dealing with the emotional side of it. And in FPL terms, mate, he's a great asset. He's a great asset.
He is.
I know that obviously the fixtures, you have to look at that in terms of whether you think that you want to go there, because obviously there's the blank coming up. But for the next game week, Brentford away, Luton at home, Conor Bradley has great potential.
I must admit, I'm looking at him myself. If Klopp gives us an indication, Leo is good, does say Klopp said that Bradley is back at the weekend, Gianni. I'd be interested to see that quote, but and do share it if you can, Leo. He wasn't in the squad though. We can't forget he has missed the last two squad. He wasn't on the bench. Elliott came on and played in the Trent role. I guess it was a slight difference in shape, but obviously he's a midfielder and he shouldn't be starting right back Elliott. But it was interesting that he came and played and got assist or two. I think he got bonus points as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, Bradley at 4.1, I'm genuinely looking at, like, from someone that's got I've got defenders I don't really want. I mean, Estupinan is potentially one that I could sell. And he's just so cheap. Fella says, I'd wish I'd sold Trent. Yeah, Fella was giving me stick for being like, oh, Gianni sold Trent. I sold Trent a while back. And I guess I've got a bit lucky there. But also, I did feel that with how much you were paying for Trent, that maybe you could spread your funds better and get a KDB, for example. I think most teams have either got Trent or KDB as their sort of luxury pick.
Yeah. There will be a few people that will be tempted to use their free hit pretty soon. I mean, obviously the blanks are starting to come up. You get problems like the Trent one. He's eating up a load of your money. You're like, okay, well, I can deal with this on a free. Mm-hmm. What would your advice be to people around this dilemma that's definitely going to become more of an issue?
Oh, I'm glad you've said, mate. I think at this point we can load Ben Krellin's spreadsheet to give you a little bit of chip chat. As that's loading, off court. Thank you so much, mate. That is very, very generous of you.
Thank you, mate.
Yeah, off court, you are a legend. You're a channel member on the Gianni Battici YouTube show. We are very grateful to have you there, but also supporting Chasing Green Arrows, which is amazing. Thank you, mate. Free hits. I look at this schedule and go, most that want to use a free hit before game week 34 and 7, which are two going to be big double game weeks in 4 and 7. This is from Ben Krellin. They'll look at the blanks and go, it's easier to use it in a blank. So there'll be a load that use free hit in that game week 29, because at the moment there's only 4 fixtures. It'll probably be 5 fixtures, maybe 6 that drop into game week 29. Right. But many will look at that and go, I've only got 7 players, 8 players. I always feel like that's a low upside free hit, using it in a blank. If you can, my advice is I always try, if I can, to use free hits in double game weeks. So when 34 and 37 come around and they're big doubles, that'll be my bench boost week and my free hit week. Some might look at 25 and go, that's a free hit week. But in truth, we've all got Man City and Liverpool players already. And some of us have got a Luton or a Brentford player. So do we need to free hit to maximize doubles? No. Do we in 26, however, need a free hit? Well, maybe, because we've got Liverpool and Luton and Chelsea and Tottenham players. Again, it's a little bit tricky. Can you field 11 in 26? I think you can with free transfers and maybe a hit. So this is where you can't afford to have any dead spots on your bench. If you have a couple of players, if you have a Mabama at West Ham as your third forward and you have a defender that doesn't get any minutes, so you're going to need all your squad in action. So this is the week, if you need to, take a 4-point hit to get a Man City or a Brentford player, knowing they double, but they also play in the blanks or in blank
Yeah.
26. Get them in. And Brentford are one of the teams confirmed to play in 29. Reguilon had a great weekend. Tony had a great weekend. Luton have the advantage of a double game week in 28 as well. So this whole window, my chip strategy will be to only use triple captain for what we can see on screen in terms of chips and game weeks, and probably in game week 30 or 31 our wild card. And I'll only wild card in 30, 31 because I'll be dead ending my team to 29. I'll be buying players that I know are playing in 29. So in game week 28 or 29, I might jump on Spurs and Villa in a big way because they confirmed play 29 and they're good teams.
Mm-hmm.
So it might mean I have to sell my Man City or Liverpool players in 28. Well, I'm okay with that because in 30 I can buy them back. So that's why I'll be wildcarding just after 29, but I don't envisage using a free hit in this window at all. I do, however, think, though, Dean, triple captain, it's got to be used in 25. You could say 28 if you want to go for a Dom Solanke with 2 brilliant fixtures, but not for me because you're backing Bournemouth to score big, and Bournemouth are a mid-table team you just can't absolutely bank on. I'd rather trust Man City to score goals or Liverpool to score goals regardless of the opposition.
Yeah.
There will be doubles to use triple captain in 34 and 7, but the double fixtures Man City and Liverpool get will not be as good as 2 home fixtures against Chelsea, Brentford. Yes, please, if you're Haaland captain. Or if you want to go for a Darwin or a Jota, Brentford away and Luton at home is also a good combo. So I'm 99.9% using a triple captain on Haaland in 25.
Yeah, does it scare? Obviously, like a lot of people have gone De Bruyne, and like the Pep Roulette discussion is back again, and Champions League football's back on the agenda now to weigh up how to do that. Does anything scare you about going triple captain Haaland, or do you think that we're okay for the next few weeks?
Haaland doesn't run much, I noticed. And I'm like, he doesn't actually run much, doesn't actually work. So even when he comes back from that injury, I was like, oh, he's going to get 30 and a 60. He came back against Brentford and got, I think, 86 minutes. And then 4 or 5 days later, he went and played 90 against Everton. This is like, it's not the same as, I know De Bruyne was out for longer, but Haaland was out for 6 weeks. He shouldn't be that fit. He doesn't need to run much. And Pep always speaks about rhythm. And I know he's got the tag of Pep Roulette, but there's certain players, when they're fit, they just start every game. Rodri is one. In years gone by, seasons gone by, players like Diaz have been another. Stones has been another when fit. KDB has been another, but not so much now. He's getting a bit older. But Haaland and Rodri are the two you just go, dust. And Foden actually at the minute too.
Yeah, Foden true, yeah.
So, yeah, I think I'm all right with that. And again, against Copenhagen, I mean, it's the first leg and it's away from home. But if they're cruising, maybe Haaland gets 10, 15 minutes saved. If Pep feels like he needs it. But Man City, with the title to win, we've just done the poll. Only half of you think City will win the league.
Wow.
And yeah, I mean, it's around a quarter each on the other two, Liverpool and Arsenal. 29% Liverpool, 14% Arsenal, 57% say City. But these teams can't afford to go easy. Like, you take your foot off the gas when the FA Cup comes around. Not at the moment.
Yeah, it's interesting for sure. Yeah, I mean, Solanke on that game week 28 is interesting just because it's Sheffield United and Luton. That is slightly tempting. It's funny because, to be honest, if that wasn't coming, I would consider selling Solanke now. If it wasn't for that double, to be honest. Like, I'm looking around thinking, is there a better value somewhere else? Like, it was all right against Fulham at the weekend, but it's about as comfortable a win as we've really had all season, that one. Yeah, it was the most stress-free Fulham Saturday I've had in ages, so it was quite nice.
What do you think of Bournemouth then? Like, there's a lot of managers that are selling Solanke with a plan to buy him back, which seems a little bit okey-cokey. But, I mean, I sold him last week and we'll probably be buying him back. But they drew against West Ham the away game before. That's a pretty team, neat and tidy. And they went on a really hot run a month or two ago. But they again, now one that seemed to be sort of easing up, going, we're happy middle of the table. We don't, they're not threatened anymore. Therefore, they maybe look like they've taken their foot off the gas.
Yeah, the threat didn't really feel there for me. Someone just said they created a ton of chances against Fulham. It didn't really feel like we were that up against it. Obviously, when they brought the game back to 2-1, there's that fear of a wobble. But even the goal itself felt a little bit like it just came out of nothing for me. I'm usually, from being in the stadium, usually get a good gauge of like how under threat you really are. And even with Tim Ream at the back, I felt like we had him under control reasonably well, to be honest with you. So, yeah, I wasn't that concerned about them. But Solanke's always got that edge to his play that you still know that he's capable of doing something. And that's why we all pick him week after week. Something I was going to bring up today, and I might as well bring it up now, is that one of the players, if I was to consider going away from him, I was like, where is some value coming up in the next week? So what could give me an edge? And Rasmus Højlund for the next couple of weeks, Luton away, then Fulham at home. And then obviously that leads into a tough game at Man City. But then on the back of that, Everton home, Sheffield United at home. Like Rasmus Højlund's got 5 straight goals in the last 5 games, got 2 assists along the way too. This lad looks so happy of life at the moment. And when you see a striker this happy and that they're scoring this regularity, it always makes me a bit tetchy, and I want to go there. Like I'm like, oh, he's got something about him at the moment. I know United have got a bit of flair about them. Like Garnacho's looking as dangerous as he's ever looked for United. He's cutting inside, looking to cut across, but he can also put in decent crosses. United have got really good ability from wide areas. Gary says United's front 3 looked good last night. If they can be consistent, there's potential there. And that's it. It's the consistency, and it's not been reliable. Now they've got an 11 that you can trust pretty much. Luke Shaw, if he is out injured, then that is a blow. But I think the fluidity of United attack-wise now, knowing that you've got Rashford, Bruno, Garnacho, Højlund, you've got Kobe Minu a bit deeper. They've got something a bit different about them now. So if you're looking for an alternative, I mean, Rasmus is 7 million at the moment. I don't think it's a bad go-to at all. If you're looking for a backup option at the moment, I think it's about as good as you can get. Looking at the fixtures over the next 5 games, expecting returns, I'd say, from 4 of them, and just expecting that United are going to actually put up a chase for 4th. I don't know that they'll get there, but I do think they can put forward a decent chase.
Yeah, if I look at the sort of forward spots are so precious, right? And because Haaland's back in this game, it changes everything. We have 2 available spots now, not 3, 2. So when we look at the 2 spots, I think there's 5 players worth considering at the moment, maybe 6 or 7, but the top 5 would be, Højlund is in there. I think the obvious ones are Watkins, Solanke, right? That's the template he picks. Tony's definitely got to be under consideration with these fixtures. And again, he can score against anyone. Højlund is there or thereabouts. You could argue when fit João Pedro too, because he's so cheap.
Yeah.
And then Darwin. We can't forget Darwin. Like Darwin again, scored at the weekend. He's got a double game week coming up. And loads this weekend brought Darwin and Jota in. Let us know in the chat other forwards you think you might have your eye on. I think they're probably the main 5-6 out. And there's only 2 spots. So Watkins is blank this week, and everyone's going, oh, I'm going to sell Watkins to Tony. But Watkins has Fulham up next, then it's Forest, then it's Luton, then it's Tottenham. Oh, and Watkins is guaranteed a fixture in 29. If you're committing to not using a free hit in 29, you can't sell Villa players now because you'll need to buy them back. It's tricky. Saying that, I might sell Pedro Porro this week, and he's got a fixture in 29.
Oh, really? Yeah. Porro, I can see the temptation.
If Bradley's around, I'm going to go probably Porro to top Bradley, but yeah.
Yeah, of course. There's McTominay super sub recently. Yeah, I mean McTominay is like 4.6 million, so he's a great player to pad out your team and know that if he has to come in, then he's got a decent chance of returns. But I think that deeper than that, we've got to start looking at options for how to. Sorry, my wife just walked in and taken my phone off me. But yeah, it's
won't ask.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. I'll find out in a minute. I'll update you all.
Guys, wrong answers only. Why is Dean's wife taking his phone? Be above the line on that one, but wrong answers only.
I'm going to log on to the desktop WhatsApp right now so I can ask her.
Because she's misplaced her phone, says CH. Yeah, it could be that. She's got a call to make. She's not got hers. Or she needs to ring her to see where it is.
I'm guessing one of my kids wants it, but we'll see. I'll let you know.
Is that phone 1 or phone 2, Dean? I love that, Adam. Guys, do hit the like button and subscribe to the. Yeah. Do hit the like button, guys. If you're new around here, hit the subscribe button. This is a new time slot. We don't usually do 5 p.m. on a Monday. And because of that, there's some new faces in the chat. And hello to all of our regulars. If you're only just stumbling across the fact we're live, or if you're watching on catch up, then yeah, slightly different time. We used to do 7, then we moved to 1. Today we're on 5, but I don't think that'll be a permanent slot for us. So yeah, a little one-off. Nuclear says Nuclear said he was so fed up with the constant over-the-top prices some of the price players are getting. Yeah, I mean, Haaland's gone up again. We saw De Bruyne's rise was insane. It's a volatile market at the moment, Nuclear. We do feel your pain on that one. Guys, we'll come off the Ben Crellin spreadsheet now. And very good suggestions with forwards. Dean's got his phone back. Adebayo was another one we should probably have mentioned. CJ is the top echelon of FPL, says Offcore. Thank you, mate. Big Ed says the new time works great for me. I'm sorry, Big Ed. It's not a new time. It's a one-off time.
Yeah, it's a one-off time.
Back. So where should we move to now, Dean? Oh, go on. Do you know what the answer? Do you know why?
No, I don't know what the answer was. No, I have absolutely no idea what that was about. We'll update before the end of the show, I'm sure.
Breaking news, by the way. Kamara. Is it my internet or your internet, Dean? One of us is lagging. I'm not sure. It might be me. Let us know in the chat if we're laggy. Maybe it's breaking news just at the bottom of the screen. Kamara is due to miss the rest of the season. ACL, mate.
Another one.
Villa clean sheets are about to go down.
Yeah. Well, Villa Park's not a fortress anyway anymore, is it? So it's Villa's season's had a bit of a turnaround anyway. So I'm not actually as convinced about that team. I just assume that they're coming back though. Like Villa just always seem to come back around when you start to doubt them now under Emery. So
true.
Yeah, I'm not going to write them off just because of that, but it's definitely a blow.
Yeah, no, it really is. Morris got me points as British 87. Gianni isn't lag. Oh, stream's fine here. Gianni isn't. No lag on the stream. Might be your connection. Oh, good. Okay, great. I guess we'll talk a little bit about some of the those players that caught the eye over the weekend. Like we spoke about Saka at the top of the show. We've spoken about Haaland. Trent was brilliant till he went off. Like he looked like he was good value for bonus points. In fact, he missed out on 1 BPS. By 1 BPS for 1 bonus point, and he only played 45 minutes and he conceded a goal. Like Trent, if he is fit, is just insane. Robertson, the set piece threat is there. Nuclear, still expensive though. There we go. Who else really caught the eye over the weekend? Spurs. Son's back. Son is back.
Yeah.
Did you see when he came on? He got that. See his assist.
Yeah. I mean, it's a nice little sub to have up your sleeve, isn't it, Son? And Ange is he promised he would entertain, and he's absolutely doing that. And they have this belief that they'll keep going and delivering. So I was pleased that Son at least returned, but I'm even more pleased that I'm expecting now to see him come back into this side in decent form. Wolves home next for Spurs. That's a nice fixture. Obviously, they do blank the week after that, but even after that, a nice run of fixtures for Tottenham, where I would expect Son to go on a little haul, to be honest with you. Fulham, Palace and Luton among them. That seems like something we should all be keeping an eye on. I kept Son just like Danny B did. And hope the patience works out, because there was definitely a time in the middle there where I should have got rid of him because my squad was getting too shallow. But he needs to return now.
Yeah, Bruno Guimaraes for Liverpool as well caught the eye. Like I'm always cautious over players like Bruno. Like he's often seen as sometimes he's box to box, sometimes he's defensive mid. Wherever he is, he's never a huge goal threat, but he's clearly the leader in that midfield, and he can come up big with FPL points. We've seen him haul in the past. We do have a super chat from Linus.
Hey, go on, Linus.
Oh, Linus is on wildcard. Love that, Linus. Got no free transfer. What goalkeeper duo?
Not my duo, I'll tell you that much. Don't do the Turner Dubravka. Absolute nightmare.
Or Dubravka Areola. They're both useless too. Should we have a look at the fixture ticker from Ben Crellin and just see who jumps out in terms of like instant points? I do think Kaminsky, knowing you get 2 doubles and you potentially get cover in 29. You need to make sure, though, Linus, one of your keepers is playing in 26 and 29. So again, could you look at Flecken? Tough fixtures, but in 26 it's an all right fixture. 29 it's a good fixture. And again, even in the double against Liverpool City, he's going to get tons of save points, Flecken.
Yeah, true. There are times when I would recommend Leno, but he's not in his best form, and I don't really love our fixtures coming up, so I'm not going to recommend Leno for the time being.
Raya is another just long-term hold. If you're not going to go Gabriel and Saliba, although if you're on wildcard Linus, I'd be going Saka, Gabriel, and Saliba.
Hang on, he meant to say free hit.
Oh,
got no free hit. Oh, right. Sorry, got no free hit. Oh, because he said free transfer, I think.
Oh, yeah. So you're wildcarding, but you don't have a plan to free hit and say 29 or whatever. So you need your wildcard to cover you in those blanks of 26 and 29. So your wildcard has to be fairly big.
Would you do Alisson? A few people mentioned Alisson. Would you do Alisson?
I don't think I would. He's too expensive.
Yeah.
I think I'd go. I think I like Flecken and it depends if you're going 3 Arsenal already. Like Emi Martinez is a great option, but now Kamara's injured. You'll get fewer clean sheets from Villa. And again, they've not looked brilliant of late. West Ham do play in 29 if you like Areola. But look, Luton are very likely to get a fixture in 29. That Luton Forest game in 29 is likely to be on because I think Luton have got Man City in the FA Cup and I think Forest have got a tricky tie. So you could go Kaminsky. Kaminsky +1.
Absolutely. I've just found out that the reason she took my phone was she got back from America today, and since she landed, her phone hasn't worked. And she's ordering the kids dinner, and so that's why she took my phone. She took it to order the food. But
why does her phone not working? Data roaming is switched off or something, and she's on not
used an
Wi-Fi?
eSIM while she was away. And usually they're pretty good, actually. You get pretty good value out of them. But since she got back, unless she's on Wi-Fi, her phone ain't working. So that explains that. I think everyone probably thought she was just going through my pictures or my messages from when she was away. She'd have been very disappointed.
Didn't want to say, mate.
I would say disappointed. She's probably been relieved. No, not disappointed that there was no... There's not much there.
I can't remember that. Oh, do you know what? I was just looking up because I'm going away in a couple of weeks. I was looking. Oh, there it is. Airalo is my eSIM provider.
That's who we use. Yeah, and it's been fine, but for some reason she should come back. It's not doing it. It's not doing anything. But that is a really good eSIM, isn't it? You get good deals.
So cheap.
Yeah,
so
really
cheap. Good stuff. Adam says, would you rather triple captain Haaland with Pau, Pinnock, Barkley on the bench? Okay, so is this a bench boost week? Well, Pau Torres didn't start. He's still playing Longley. Pau Torres was benched, but could be back in. Pinnock's got a double, but he could end on minus points with Liverpool and City. And Barkley's got the double too. And a doggy boxing Barkley on the bench. Oh, I still think I'd triple. Who's your goalkeeper? Adam, that's a tough one, mate. That's a very good bench, but I still think I'd triple captain Haaland. Good question. Oh, Neto, if you're on a wild card, by the way, I really like Wolves' fixtures. Like, I know they lost to Brentford, but they look good, and they were brilliant against Chelsea the week before that. Neto has got goals in him galore. He's 2.7% owned. He's a proper differential. Neto
2.7, is he really?
Yeah, mate. And he was robbed of an assist. The Dawson goal was offside by a shoelace, and like it would have been another Neto assist. He's been such an assist monster this season when he's been fit.
Oh, cool. I've just got some advice from Off Course telling her to turn on and off her GPS. Sometimes it needs recalibration. So I'm going to send her that right now.
Good suggestion, Off Course.
Yeah.
Dean, we need to see what our points were to date. My overall rank, I have checked it mid-game week, which I don't like doing, but there is only one fixture left. I've gone from 145k to around 105, so I'm happy. At the end of the show, guys, oh no, we won't. It'll be 7 o'clock. I think there's Monday Night Football's 8 tonight, so Chelsea versus Palace is big. But we'll all be looking to see, do we have Palmer starting? Of course he should do. There's been no rumours he won't. But let's see what points we're on for me, you, but also you can tell us after this sting what happened with the Chaser team on Friday. Can't wait to see that one. Oh, we're going to tease the chaser team for a while, are we?
Mate, you left me in a right muddle when you disappeared to do your own show, and I had to finish off the pieces of that team. We got there, but yeah, wasn't ideal. My team. Let's have a look. It was fine. Got lucky on not lucky, but I chose Haaland over De Bruyne for the captaincy, so that was good. Yeah, there's not that much else to report, really, is there? Gabriel came up with the goal and the clean sheet. My goalkeepers continue to give me literally nothing in this game.
You got Dubravka coming on for Turner, so 1 point.
Brilliant,
shocking.
brilliant.
I've got Dubravka and Areola, both just as bad. We've had terrible. You and I this season, our goalkeeper choices have been shocking.
I honestly don't think I've got more than. I don't think I've got any points of a goalkeeper all season. I might go through all of my weeks to see what the most I've got out of a goalkeeper is.
Did you go Leno at 1 point? Did Leno sort you out for a bit? Because you were telling people to buy him. I don't know if you bought him. I can't remember.
One of those typical situations where I was selling it. I'm going to go back quickly now, and I'm going to see if I got anywhere. I'm currently back to game week 7. Oh, game week 17. Dubravka got 7.
Okay. Rare.
Before that, I had Raya, and he was just getting 1s and 2s. Before that, I had Johnston, 1s. Onana got me a 6 in game week 11.
Jesus.
I've got a 6. Oh, Onana got a 7 there. So I've had 2 7s and a 6. Every other week, my goalkeepers have had a 1 or a 2.
That is shocking.
That is absolutely embarrassing.
I had Onana till I wildcarded in like game week 8. And then I sold him or whenever I wildcarded. And then, he went and got a couple of clean O's. And it was like, oh, damn. But it's just been poor. And again, like the question we just had on the super chat around what goalkeepers to buy, it's such a lottery. I'm almost inclined to go, forget the goalkeepers for clean sheets, unless you're buying like a Raya, an Allison, or an Edison, Martinez, maybe, you'll get some. Just go for ones you think will face loads of shots. Like Flecken at the moment is busy and he's got fixtures. So it's like he'll get save points. I'd expect him to get similar.
Yeah.
But yeah. No Saka for you, but you do have Jota. And a lot of people made Saka to Jota as a transfer. I guess your focus now, though, will be with the blanks in mind. And I hope you follow a similar chip strategy to what I'm thinking, Dean, but getting rid of any dead spots. So Baldock and Lascelles, I think.
Oh, I mean, they've got to go finally. How long have they been sat there like that? It's like it's a glitch on the page, but it's actually real. They're still there. Yeah, they've got to go, haven't they? We've got too many important weeks coming up. Still got bench boosts to play. We're going to have the weeks where we've got blanks and doubles and all. Definitely sales just waste men in this team, aren't they?
Yeah. All right, let's move on to my team and see how I've got on today. Like Dean, we've both got Palmer. I nearly had to bench Palmer. I'm so glad I didn't. It's difficult choosing who to bench this week. And next week, I'll be benching Palmer. He's got Man City away. I don't expect him to get much, but let's see how he performs tonight. 1 point to Bravco, brilliant. Dean, we both got Pedro Porro. We just saw Porro on your team. He doesn't keep clean sheets, and he's not producing in attack either. Spurs also don't play in game week 26. They're one of the teams that do blank. If someone like a Bradley's available, Porro to Bradley makes sense. It saves you £1 million as well.
That's true. Yeah, that is worth considering. I mean, the thing that scares me about Porro is like he's so good. When he's on his game, he's so good. And I can just see the second I switch him out that Spurs do. So for this week, to be honest, like Wolves home, as long as he's not flagged or anything and it looks like he's going to be all right, then I'll play him for that one. And then take him out for that next one. I just noticed they've got Crystal Palace at home. That could be the easiest game of the season at this rate. Difficult one. That's a difficult one. But yeah, Bradley's definitely a good place to go looking for an alternate, knowing that he's got that double that kind of makes up for it, doesn't it? So that's not a bad point. Chai's just joined the chat. Hello, mate. Ziad says Porro is a sell, and British says Porro probably needs to go. Adam's trying to encourage me to do a wild card. Linus says I could join him on a wild card. I'm not wild carding this week. I'm not doing it, lads.
When Dean wildcards, we'll do a dedicated hour-long show, so we need to be tipped off.
Yeah, I will do a different week to G. Like, I'm definitely not going to wild card the same week as you. and maybe I'll do it. Try and pick a bit of a weirder one that's less logical than yours, just to make it a more interesting show. But yeah, I'm probably not too far away from it, to be fair.
There we go. Big up Chai. A few in the chat saying hello to Chai. Good
How
to
did
see
Chai
you,
get
mate. Oh, not great. He's on a red.
Oh.
He went from 19 in the world to around 40, but it's so tight. He just needs one. He just needs one big win next week, and he's back in the top 10. So yeah, I'm there for it. I hope
Do you think
Chai's
you
not
could handle
too
it, mate?
frustrated.
Could you handle that being 19 and like stressing over what your expectation is? Because like the problem when you get to 19, you're actually starting to think about winning the game, which is still, I think, actually an unrealistic expectation with like 14 game weeks left.
Yeah,
so much can happen.
It's weird to comment until you're there, I guess, if you can handle it. But I do, in a strange way, without sounding like I'm blowing my own trumpet, my team is searched by a ridiculous amount of managers on a weekly basis, regardless, because I'm the guy that talks about FPL on TV. Therefore, I think someone, I don't know, one of those third-party websites, there are FPL sites, released like the top 10 most searched teams on Twitter. Yeah. And I was like, I don't know, 5th most searched team in the world.
Really?
Yeah, all the guys that do the punditry stuff for Sky or for so sure, Chai will be more searched than me at the moment. Of course he will be, because he's the only content creator. He's the only person creating content in the top 1,000 as far as I'm aware, let alone top 50. But yeah, my team's scrutinized left, right, and center. My mentions, if I have a bad decision like Foden benching last week, it's, you know, even on platforms like Instagram where I don't talk about FPL, I go to my inbox on Instagram, which I only check like once a week, like the non-friend inbox.
Yeah,
I've still got dozens coming in from Foden on like a daily, like it's ridiculous. So yeah, could I deal with the pressure of being in the top 50? I'd be having sleepless nights every night. It's probably not. But already there's tons of pressure.
Do you think
on me? It seems.
Do you think you could win it from where you are now?
Christ, no, mate. No. Chai's points on me. I'm going to let you know because I'm in a mini league.
But you still got your chips.
Yeah, but I still don't. You can turn that
around.
I
don't think you could do it.
I think my best hope at my rank would be like I still think top 10k is doable, but like Chai's on 1,580 points. I'm on 1,457. 57. Like there's 130 points between us.
It's quite a lot. Yeah.
It's what you look at, like, oh, can I get to the top 1,000 and it's doable? But the difference between like world top 50 and world top 1,000 is massive. So Chai's in the most unbelievable position.
I love Chai's approach to it though. It's like he's like just got the right character for like breezing. I don't know if he is breezing it, but he seems like he is because he's taking it in his stride. He sat there having his sips of his drink as he chats through why he doesn't pick Haaland. And he's just chill about it all. Whereas I can imagine some people will get so intense and like, oh my God, like I'm going to make history here. I'm going to be a legend in my own family, whatever it is.
I hope for Chai's sake that it doesn't get to him. He's shown absolutely no signs of it, but of course he'll still get people annoying him with a mention. Oh, what's this idiot doing, captain Bruno? He's clearly got there through luck alone, and it's like, so you'll get those occasional comments. But yeah, from what I've seen to date, he's pretty cool, calm, and collected. And you know what? There's so many similarities with Chai and Ali Hangarov. Not only were they both chasers. Not only did they make their YouTube debuts alongside me, but they're both just cool, calm, and collected. Mate, maybe that's the secret to winning FPL.
You'll be able to write a book one day about all your mentorship of bringing through all these champions. You're like,
mate, honestly, like that's my new purpose. Forget being a good FPL manager. I'm just the inspirational coach behind these talents.
Imagine every year you coach the winner.
I just nothing to do with trying to find a good voice and face for my YouTube channel to increase views. Nothing to do with that. Nothing to do with that.
There's managers out there that barely played the game to a high level. It doesn't matter if you've never won it yourself. You can still coach people to to hold out and win it. That's got to be your special, unique selling point here. Your little USP has to be that you create FPL champions. Oh, look at this. FPL tries to give us some money. He actually does want to pay you to coach him, mate. He loves it.
Chai, seeing as you're in my members only WhatsApp group on a freebie, I massively appreciate you paying me back for that. So yeah, thanks, mate. But no, to be fair, Ali and I last season, I remember going into the last 2 weeks of the season. I reckon we spoke on a daily basis on voice notes on a day. It was amazing. I loved being a tiny slither of Ali's success.
Yeah.
And if Chai ever needs an ear, he knows I'm there. But he doesn't need my help. Do you know what? Chai's a certain manager. Help would work again. Like, he's got to where he's got by purely playing his own game. Like, if I had offered Chai advice back in game week 10, I'd be like, what the hell are you doing without Haaland?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And I mean, he's got him now. Somebody said, well, he's got Haaland now. He's jumping. It's like, yeah, but you'd be silly not to have Haaland for a Premier League run in, wouldn't you? Like,
and he didn't captain him. He captained Darwin.
Oh, did he? Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Awesome. Chai, thank you for joining us today, mate. And it was wicked. I was streaming last night and Chai was in the chat. And Chai and Neil Robertson, who was also in the chat, former world #1 and champion snooker player, and Chai and Neil were just having loads of back and forth. It was amazing. I was like, I've got one of the best FPL managers in the world and a former snooker world champion. So Chai, thank you for that last night. How did you and Chai get on doing the Chaser team? Shall we have a look at the Chaser team? I want to. So give us a summary of what happened on Friday.
Well, it turned out all right. Like, you'll see the team come up on your screen now, and they've done well. I've got 74 points. We did end up making 3 transfers instead of 2. We went deep, but yeah. I can't remember. Chai, remind me in the chat exactly what our transfer, or CH.
Doherty as well. You went double Luton, did you? For a hit.
What
you had 3?
We had
Jota
came in and won the poll to be captaincy. Yeah, so that happened. And we were going to bring in somebody else up front. And it got all a bit... It got a bit complicated, mate, to be honest. Adebayo, Doherty and Jota. There you go.
I mean, the captaincy shout was bold, wasn't it? It's back against Haaland. I'm glad the Chasers did that. I know the outcome didn't come out, but I like the decision.
Yeah, so it wasn't a good one, was it? Because they'd have had a really good score if they'd have captained Haaland.
Yeah.
Sold Watkins for Adebayo. That was it. That was the big call. Solanke was going at one point, and then Watkins ended up going, and Adebayo came in. It was a weird old 10 minutes, mate. I can tell you that much. And I do not enjoy changing this team like that. Thought we were only going to do 2 transfers. Chai suddenly says, "No, I think we should do 3." Oh my god, here we go. Doherty, there he is, 1 point. That's good. But yeah, it's not too bad. I mean, that's a decent score. Obviously, even though you've got to take a point hit, it was a decent return in the end. And actually, the team looks pretty good going forward, to be fair.
Well set for the doubles.
Yeah,
we've got 2 Luton players, they double. 2 City, they double. Okay, there's 2 Liverpool, but Trent's gonna have to be a sell. But maybe it's Trent for Bradley or Van Dijk. Yeah, it's good. Solanke's there, ready for his double in 28. Yeah, nice. I wonder if they'll captain. I wonder if they'll go Jota or Haaland captain. What's your take on triple captaincy, Dean? And again, will they go triple captain? Like, I'm just not going to muck around with it. Haaland with 2 homes.
Yeah, I mean, I usually just look for 2 homes for Haaland. It's normally, who was it last season? I can't remember exactly. It was someone rubbish and someone else, and it's going to be again because it's Chelsea and Brentford, so it's another rubbish team. And just an average team. But I think, honestly, I mean, you look at it, and who's to say that Man City don't beat Chelsea 3-0, for example? Like, could easily be, couldn't it? Even you could admit that. And Brentford, I don't really know what we get from Brentford anymore. They usually don't fold, but Man City going for a title, you're looking at a home match against Brentford as an absolute banker still, aren't you? So, yeah, I mean... The alternate would be to just look for another one-off game where Haaland is guaranteed goals. And if that was to be the case, the only other game I'll be looking for, game week 33, City play Luton at home. it's a sort of game where potentially Haaland could score 4 goals, I guess, if he wanted to, but I'm not going to be risking anything like that. I haven't decided on whether I do it this week, but there is strong reasoning to believe that either Liverpool player or a City player gets the triple captaincy this week.
Yeah, I like that. Like that very much. We're captaining Adebayo. Yes, Ice G. I mean, he's got the double game week. He's not even on penalties. Morris is,
Man
but yeah, it
United,
works.
Liverpool double game week. We're going for it.
I do love Adebayo though. He's done really well. Okay, there we are. That's the Chaser team. Guys, we'll be tweaking this team on Friday's show. On Wednesday's show, we've got Big Man Backer in the house. We'll be doing a bit of a data theme on Wednesday, so stay tuned for some stats on that one. Dean, what's your take on tonight's fixture? Chelsea Palace. Let's do a little bit of Monday night preview on that. Cole Palmer, a lot of managers out there are going to be watching Cole Palmer more than watching Chelsea or watching Palace. He's so highly owned. Chelsea's best performance of the season was against Villa last Wednesday. Yeah. And Cole Palmer played like number 9. He played Jackson on the left and he played Madueke on the right and I think Gallagher in the 10. Yeah. Gusto played really well at right back. He dropped Thiago Silva. He played Disasi and Badiashile. He played Chilwell. I think it'll be the same 11. And if it is...
injured though, isn't he injured?
Oh, Christ, is he?
Think so.
Oh, great.
I'm not 100% on that, but I'm sure I saw that Badiashile might be out. So my
Are we liking Palmer?
Yeah, obviously I like Palmer. I'm Madueke
in that role though.
In that role, yeah. I like him in that role. I mean, because it means that Nicholas Jackson isn't there. That's why you like him. Nicholas Jackson actually better out wide. Like he actually,
I think I agree with you.
Better there, and then coming in to score.
A bit more time and space out wide. And Palmer's good in front of goal, so put him central where he can shoot.
I think you get just more joy out of that. So obviously, like Palace are not gonna play expansive football here. They're not going to be looking to do anything out of the ordinary. They're missing their 3 best players. It's all written in Chelsea to go and win this game. The problem is Chelsea don't really do very well in that situation so far. Whenever you've seen good performances from Chelsea, it's because there's been extra motivating factors. You go back to the last game, while Pochettino was being written off, Enzo Fernandez was leaving, the team was rubbish. This was the end of their season. If they got knocked out the Cup or then got knocked out the Carabao. And that was that. And I feel like they needed that us against the world mentality to raise that sort of performance. And the press was there from the start. And occasionally you do see that from Chelsea. Don't often see it back to back. And a game against Crystal Palace where there's got to be that self-motivation will be really interesting to see whether they do it. Now, I trust Cole Palmer absolutely to do that. There's not many others in that Chelsea team that I actually trust to perform at a consistent level week after week. So I think he's still a good pick for us, and I still think that Chelsea will win the game. But am I expecting him to go and win 3-0 at Palace? I don't really have that level of trust in this team. So it'll be an interesting game.
Yeah, I'm really excited for it. Watch this.
I like your goalie a lot, mate. Petrovic, I like a lot.
Hey, Americans produce good keepers, don't they, over the years? Tim Howard, Casey Keller. Who are the others?
All that money you spent on goalkeepers through the years, and this is your man. You should be sticking with him. You should really be sticking with him. Maybe he's the one to solve our goalkeeper problem in FPL.
Yeah, maybe. He's really useful. I didn't like the Sanchez signing, by the way. He weren't good enough for Brighton.
Yeah, it was a strange one.
Yeah, it was good enough for Chelsea. It was weird. There we go. Guys in the chat, thank you so much for all your likes and subscribes tonight. Although I haven't pushed like down your throat. And I've noticed you haven't even got to 100. So if you fancy Tim Howard, another example, do hit the like button, guys. It really helps the algorithm. And if you're new around here, because it's a new time slot, you've not seen Chasing Green Arrows before, you're missing out. Hit the subscribe button and you will... Petrovic is a Serb. Is he? I know he came from US. I just assumed he qualified for US.
Yeah, I don't know if he done. He was obviously signed from an MLS team. I presumed he was from both, to be honest, but that was...
Yeah, I knew he had Eastern European heritage with the Ich, or Serbian heritage with the Ich name, but I just assumed he qualified for US.
Well, he's 24 and he's moved to America only in 2022, so we're probably both wrong on that. There you go. We've learned something.
Anyone remember Bob Bradley's reign at Swansea? Bob Babley.
Get it.
Yeah,
It's a legend. It's a legendary thing, Gary.
On that note, on that bombshell, I think we'll
Yeah,
wind
I'm getting the
down.
goalkeeper's nationality wrong. There we go.
Yeah. There we go. Thank you very much for watching, guys. For the time being, till Wednesday lunchtime at 1 p.m, we'll be back with another show. He's been Dean, I've been Janny, and we've been chasing green arrows.
Cheers, everyone.
See you later.